This is what I have to say.
Megan Hicks of I Run Far, and I'm here in Kawaguchiko, Japan. It's the morning after the 2015 Ultra-Trail Mount Fuji. I'm with Aliza Lapierre, who tied for second place, and this is what she says about the race. Me. How are you? Are you feeling a little hungover?
That would be a good way to put it. A little caffeine, goo, hangover.
100 miles.
105 miles. It's not, those last 5 I definitely want to account for.
So, the GPSs on a bunch of people are coming up with between 108 and 109 miles. Ouch.
Yes, one of the course change sections I had registered as 4 miles long, so that makes sense.
There it is. There's that extra.
We found it.
That's where it was. Okay, let's break down your race. At the beginning, you were kind of tucked in with the lead girls. Yeah. So talk about those early kilometers. Fernanda said that you and she spent a lot of time running and a lot of time chatting. Did you just tuck in and run with her, or?
Early on I ran with her on the flat section up to the first climb, and then we were definitely in close proximity on the first climb. There were several women around us, and we were all chatting a little bit, but also just trying to find our rhythm. You know, it was pretty crowded at that point, so everybody was just kind of in a train and trying to keep moving and not overdo it.
And not get overrun by the 1,400 people behind you?
Yes, it was pretty amazing looking back down and just seeing the stream of people behind us. And definitely daunting too. It's like, oh my god.
This is a big race.
Yes.
This race is unique in that you will run, you know, several miles on pavement, and then you'll have a super steep technical climb, a super steep technical descent, and then you'll run a bunch of miles on pavement again. How did that go mentally?
You know, actually, I think some of my strongest miles were definitely on the pavement.
Okay.
I felt like my hiking was good. I wasn't struggling, and I made sure to keep my exertion level at a comfortable level. The downhills definitely gave me a hard time due to traction. It was very, very slippery mud, where you were basically just kind of skating down it and then hoping not to hit a rock or a root or a tree.
It would cause you to go flying.
And I remember coming down the tenshis, and we're all still pretty lined up, and one person would fall and everybody would try to slam on the brakes, and then we're like 4 or 5 of us are like tangled up, all covered in mud. It was like comical, and I was like, is somebody filming this? Like, is this a reality like TV show? So, as you could probably tell from my outfit, I fell quite a few times.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah,
you rolled in, I think your gray skirt was just brown.
Yes, it was caked with the tenshis.
Caked by the tenshis.
Yes.
The tenshis came pretty early in the race. Like, you come out of there and you still have 2/3 of the race to go. Did you come out in good shape, or did you come out a little rattled by, oh, whoa?
I was definitely happy they were behind us rather than having them later in the race. They were really impressive, just the length of the climb, and it just felt like a really spiritual place, and I know how important they are to the Japanese people, so I really tried to soak it in and enjoy it. And you know, I think it also helped that they came at nighttime, even though I would have liked to seen the scenery, but that kind of slowed everybody's pace down a little bit even more, which helped me, because I don't ever see anything that steep back in New England.
Even though New England is the home of rocks and roots and steep up and steep downs, this was another category?
In terms of like how technical it was, I was very comfortable on that. It was just the constant jamming of the toes on the steepness of the downhill, where, you know, there could have been a switchback and you're just going straight down. And also, again, the mud, just not knowing when your foot was going to slip. And if you were then going to fall down like this massive ravine.
Talk about the middle part of the race, because you spent a long time in second place and a long time like alone. There were no other, you know, Ushui was quite a distance in front of you, Fernanda and the other girls were quite a distance behind you. Was it a lonely night?
You know, I kind of got to run with a few people on and off, but not many English speakers, so that was difficult for me. Just not being able to communicate and tell funny stories and hear funny stories.
Does anybody want to listen?
And no, I actually did say that going up the Tenshis. I was like, anybody got a good story? And like, crickets, like, and I was like, come on, somebody. And it
needed a lot of books on tape for this.
I had my iPod, and it was like, I just wasn't into it. I just wanted to go back and forth with people. And I mean, constantly throughout the race, I'm like, do you speak English? Do you speak English? Like, please. And you know, not being able to say like, how far to the aid station? Do you know like when we're gonna top out on this climb? Like, it's been an hour. Like, are we almost there? So that part was definitely, it was hard.
From the 100 to 135-ish K aid stations. Before that, Ushui had put a fair bit of time on you. But then through each of those aid stations, you were cracking away at her lead. Just increments of 3 minutes, 6 minutes, 3 minutes. But by 135K, you dug into a third of her lead. Did you know what was going on?
I really didn't, and honestly, I wasn't concerned with where she was and what she was doing.
Okay.
I made a lot of little mistakes early on in the race that eventually added up and put me in a pretty big hole.
Okay.
I ran out of water a few times, just miscalculating. You know, I'd have a full pack, but you know, a full pack for 5 hours on the Tenshis doesn't get you 5 hours. Yeah. And so then I couldn't, you know, eat stuff because I didn't have liquid to wash it down with. So, you know, calorie deficit, dehydration. Unfortunately, my crew missed me at one spot. And there's no goo or blocks or anything to grab. So, you know, I kind of had these undulations and, you know, tried to rebound and be smart. But ultimately, I think it helped lead to some stomach issues, and so, you know, mentally, I definitely started to go downhill.
Accidental or intentional or whatever, those types of challenges are kind of part and parcel to many 100-milers. And it's a good lesson for everybody, like how you do manage to climb out of those holes. So how did you do it? Because in the end, I mean, you ended up having a very strong finish. You finished second, like, obviously you didn't stay in the hole. So what did you do?
I think I did actually stay in the hole, but you know, I don't remember when I started throwing up, but I couldn't eat or drink anything.
You and your stomach.
I know. And eventually I came to an aid station, and they had these little sugar sucker candies. And I took like 4 of them, and that was like probably 20 calories each. Yeah. And I rationed those, and you know, that kind of helped, I think, calm my stomach. So then a little bit later, I was able to at least drink some. Okay. I still couldn't do goos or anything, but my legs felt great. It was mainly just my feet that were sensitive. So
your feet are wrecked.
They are wrecked. It was.
Was it the constant wetness?
There was a lot of wetness in the mud, and then just the debris that would end up in your shoes constantly. I mean, I stopped a few times and emptied them out, and you know, within 5 minutes, you're like, seriously? There's like
back again.
There's like 50, you know, rocks in there again, and just the constant, like, I mean, most people were complaining about their feet, and just. You know, we were all just whimpering and crying as we shuffled along.
The aid stations here are unique in that each one offers a different, like, Japanese specialty, different noodles and soups and the like. Did you sample anything?
No, absolutely not. They were amazing aid stations, but with my finicky stomach and being gluten-free and vegetarian, there weren't a lot of options for me.
Nothing for you, really.
But I was very impressed with how accommodating they were and welcoming, and you know, they wanted you to just stay and rest and eat and
stay a while, move London.
Yeah, but it was very unique, and you know, it definitely, they bring their culture to the race, which is just special.
I want to talk about the end of the race a little bit. You ended up pairing up with Fernanda at the end. I think she came from behind, and also Japan's Kaori Niwa, she showed up too.
She did.
In the last 20K. Talk about how all that played out.
We, in between aid stations, we came down some, we did a really big climb, and I was alone, and didn't think there was anybody close, and then we kind of hit this forest road, and I thought I was moving along okay, and then those two went blowing by me. Like,
were they together?
They were together, and they totally did a little sneak attack. I like saw them behind me, like shh, shh, and they just went flying by me, and they were both chipper as can be, and I was like, oh my god, I just went from second to fourth, like
just in 1 second,
like that. And so I definitely like checked myself, and I was like, okay, my pace needs to be stronger. If they're running that strong, I can run that strong. And
so they caught, like, the competitor in you, like, was
yeah,
like, bam,
and I was like, I just want to keep them in sight, you know, be able to have visual. And they were just having a great time, and I was just like, oh! So I had to work really hard. They probably had a couple minutes on me by the time we hit a pavement road, and I was able to catch the Japanese woman first.
On the pavement? On
the pavement, and Fernanda actually probably had a quarter of a mile on her at that point.
Okay.
And just slowly I reeled Fernanda in, and right at the aid station I caught her.
Was that the last aid station then, or?
That was, no, not the last, the second to last.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you guys left that aid station together?
Fernanda left first. I was about maybe 20 seconds behind her. Again, we kind of weaved through a village and on pavement, and I was able to catch her again.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did you spend some time together, or how did it come to be that you decided to finish together? We
started up a big climb together, and we were chatting, and we knew that the Japanese woman wasn't far behind, and Fernanda proposed that we work together and try to hold her off, and she said, you know, we can work together and we can finish together like we started together. And I said, that's great, that sounds awesome to me. So, you know, we definitely took turns setting the pace. And she did a great job, and we just encouraged each other, and it was just an honor to run with her. She's very, very strong.
It's unique at the end of a race, the end of 100 miles, your highs are high and your lows are lows. It's unique that you could match them up to spend some time, you know, spend some climbing, descending, running flat together, and still be able to make it. Was it somebody would feel strong on one stretch and would kind of come on, come on, come on, and then the other one would help through another stretch, or how did it work? Yeah, I think our highs and lows were actually at different times, and I would just, you know, tell her she's doing a really good job and has a good pace, and I was keeping tabs on what was going on behind us, and, you know, told her we're all clear, like, we're good, like, just let's stay safe until we get to the more runnable stuff. Because they actually threw in a fairly large climb at the end. I think it took us about an hour and 10 minutes to do the climb, which was new, I guess, to the course. So we were thinking, you know, a little climb and then kind of a cakewalk, and it was just over 2 hours for 7.5 miles, so we had to work for it. That was a hard, and the last couple miles are running. And you can see the bridge and the finish, and it's like, it's so close, but it's so far away. Yeah, so Kaori was just a minute behind you when you came onto the bridge, and the bridge is probably just over a mile from the finish, something like that. But then at the end, she was 6 or 7 minutes back. Did you guys just hammer across the bridge? We were not hammering across the bridge at all. She must have realized that she wouldn't be able to compete and took it a little more leisurely. I would, because I think we even maybe walked a little bit of the incline on the bridge, and we were just looking around, and I don't think we were hammering at all. I think we were just trying to survive the last little bit, and I feel like we were confident that we had our spot secure. So And I'm sure some people are wondering, you crossed the finish with a dude too.
Yes. Thomas was great. He and I ran together off and on, and he spoke English, which was awesome. His wife was also running the race, so that was pretty neat. And Fernanda and I had caught him on the, maybe 2 miles from the finish, and he was walking and he was not moving fast. And I said, come on, let's go. I said, hop on, we're going to do this together. And he joined us, and it was just perfect.
At the last couple miles, he just basically tucked in right behind the two of you.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm going to hold on.
Yeah, I was like, come on, let's go. And so it was pretty neat because he and I had shared some miles. So I thought he was long gone, so I was surprised to see him.
The look on your face at the finish line was just replete relief. Is that how you felt?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly didn't think I was going to finish that race.
Okay.
It was the hardest race I've ever done.
Okay.
Mentally, I was not in a good spot for probably 90% of the race, so I kept thinking about dropping. And
was it the terrain, the language barrier with people you were with, the lack of views, the weather, what was it that all added up?
The weather I thought was actually great for me.
Okay.
It was just this nice light rain and this
keeping you cool,
this breeze, and I mean, it was like fall in New England, so I didn't mind that at all. We were in the dark for 12 hours, so no views, plus everything was socked in, so it was just really hard. There was nothing to distract you. It was all just your headlamp beam and the thoughts in your head, and so it was tough.
Well, you persevered through. You didn't let the demons get you. And you finished second.
I did.
Heck,
I did. Yeah. It was the longest I've ever run, so by 4 or 5 hours. So
now do you wrap up your season?
That would be the end of my season.
Okay.
And I'm quite happy.
Time to put your feet up?
Put my feet up and eat some good food and enjoy some time with my husband.
Awesome.
Yeah.
George, she's coming for you.
Coming home.
Well, congratulations to you on your second place finish at the 2015 Ultra-Trail Mount Fuji.
Thank you, and thank you for your coverage.
You're welcome. Thanks for the flower at the finish line.
Good luck, Brian, in China.
Oh yeah, good luck, Brian. It's gonna hurt, buddy.